over the past couple of days when they did their practice and then they did a demonstration yesterday. It adds a little bit of a challenge for them to have clouds up there. Is that right?
It does. It actually can affect the show drastically if the clouds are very low. But we have a cloud ceiling that's greater than 8,000, which means we can fly all of our routine. As they did that 360 pass, they have assessed, when they first come out, they assessed the ceiling. As you see, the solo's doing an inverted to inverted roll, one of the tough, interesting maneuvers, and then they pass inverted and they go up from that point. This is actually something very unique because normally inverted flying does not last that long. So that is a very intense maneuver, and as tight as you can be strapped into your seat, as you know, Monique,
yeah.
When you invert, you're still going to feel like you're hanging. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you were mentioning that that's something that they usually don't have to do for that long a time. We should mention to folks that everything they do in this show, this isn't just for our benefit. These are all maneuvers that these pilots need to know how to do.
That is correct. That is correct. This is showing the capabilities of the FA-18 Hornet. And these maneuvers that they're taught are not just stunts. They are actually techniques that Marine and naval aviators in their flight school, as they just did the diamond aileron roll there, they are taught, and those skills are developed and used in the fleet in combat environments, dogfighting, and making sure that they're either following or evading the enemy. But here they're brought and they're showcased for our great nation, so they can see and take pride in the Navy and Marine Corps men and women serving around the world and defending the freedom of our country.
It's impressive, and somehow it is also practical, which is hard for us to believe because we are so impressed.
Very true. As you see, the solos are actually coming together for another maneuver. It's called the Fortis, and this is where they configure with the carrier landing configuration, and they actually invert. And it's very important to note that, they fly very fast through this demonstration, but landing on a pitching deck of an aircraft carrier, you need to be able to control the aircraft while you're slow with, we call it dirty, with the landing gear and tail hook down.
Okay.
So number 5 is going to invert here, and then they are going to match down the line. And this will show the slow speed but still capabilities.
Our cameramen do such a great job at getting these shots too. You can actually see them turn. You can see the yellow on their helmet as they're looking into each other's eyes basically to sync up. Is that right?
They're matching up, so they're matching to make sure. And when we get done with the flight, they will actually debrief and work on things and see, if they were exactly where they want. And that's, one of the things that we pass on when we talk to children and when we talk to people is continue to strive and improve yourself and work on seeking perfection, following your dreams and goals. So we don't say, oh, that was a good show. We know it, we've got it all, and we don't need to continue to work hard. It is a day in, day out, 130 team members strong effort to make sure that we maintain focus and we continue to strive for greatness and perfection.
And we can see our I-90 bridge that is closed for this as people walk out there because they want to get as good a view as they can of this show.
Yes, and we have another, this is the carrier landing configuration, but this is the diamond dirty roll, doing it together. So they're actually diamond dirty loop, where they will loop here with their landing gear out, which that means at their speed they will have more drag on the aircraft, and then they will do a loop. And it still shows the capability of the aircraft with the landing configuration.
One of the things that was so impressive and spectacular about seeing how they operate these planes is just it takes such a toll on your body.
It does.
G-forces, and you all make it seem like it is no big thing.
And you give a great segue into that. Lieutenant Commander Mark Tedrow is about to hit with a minimum radius turn, so he's going to turn this in the tightest radius that he can and max perform this jet. And while he's doing this, he will have 7 times the force of gravity on his body while he's still maintaining the level profile as the jet comes over center point. And as he's arriving at center point, we have number 6 is going to be passing, and will show a quick max climb of the aircraft.
There he goes. And there are G suits that help absorb the force, but these pilots cannot wear them because it would get in their way.
Exactly. The G suit constricts, and it actually can affect them flying by the spring. So they fly with the spring, and they don't have that, so they can have the utmost control to ensure that when they're flying precision in the close proximity, that they have full control, that there's nothing that's going to adjust or inhibit them from having full control and being safe while they're flying the demonstration. As you see, the diamond formation is coming in where this is the double farvel. They go inverted. And now 4 is going to come down as close as he can right here, and he's right above the number 1, and 2 and 3 will match each other.
Oh my.
And now they will return to their normal state, and then they will do a separation. And a lot of these too, the maneuvers that they do when they break out, the rendezvous of coming back at different speeds and different angles to get to the diamond formation is also a challenge. So now you have the solos entering above, and they are going to do the opposing minimum radius. So they are both going to max perform the radius turn, pull 7 Gs at about 400 miles per hour, and then they will cross center point.
And this isn't like driving your mom's old Honda with a really loose wheel. I mean, these guys just move their wrists a little bit, and that is steering the plane.
Yes, and a lot of it, especially with the formation flying, as you see the solos coming in for their pass over center point. There they go. With the diamond flying, you will see that boss gives them calls, and the inflection and the way he gives information to them, they know how they're adjusting, and it's very minor. So if he has more of inflection as a little pull versus a little pull, that is a different way and a different speed as what they're going to climb. Or so those things, that's why the 120 flights together, you build that camaraderie. You see from the right here, they're coming in for the fan pass. They are stacked in an echelon formation. And again, you see the wingtips right over the canopies. And as they come out of the maneuver, there will be a call that they will go diamond again. And they will receive a call. They will go diamond. As you see, they'll rotate. Number 3 will come back under, and then 4 will slide into the slot position where he normally flies.
As you mentioned, it's not just the pilots up in the planes. All of you folks on the ground are making this happen, not only making those planes able to fly, but also to figure out how all of this comes together up in the air.
That is correct. That is correct. There's a communication boat talking to them right now, as you see the solos coming in for their horizontal rolls. And as soon as this is completed, they will get information and feedback on where they were in position to center point. And if there's any information that needs to be passed to them, we have a representative at Boeing Field in the tower. That's where actually Captain Katie Higgins is today. And if we had someone come into the airspace, or there's an emergency with a life flight helicopter that needs to transit someone to the hospital, all that information and planning and communication is important to deconflict to ensure that their primary thing is focused on flying and flying safely. So there is a lot of external comms in their cockpit that we talk about and ensure that they don't get distracted until the time comes that we say, hey, you need to know that this is going on, and then they may adjust or they may change a maneuver to make sure that the safety again is being paramount to the demonstration. But again, in addition to that, you still have all the enlisted that are back at Boeing Field. They're getting things ready, and when these jets come back, if there's anything going on with them, they will make sure it's taken care of, and we're ready to go for the next flight.
As you mentioned to me before, these are no spring chickens as far as the planes, the jets themselves go.
Yes.
They've had a couple of years on them and a lot of miles, and it's a lot of, they're a little high maintenance.
That is correct, and that's why it takes a great maintenance team and enlisted sailors and Marines working together to keep these airframes that are 29 years old flying and performing at the max level that they can, that this team, his mission is to do. And as you see, they're doing the left echelon roll. That is a very graceful maneuver that they rotate 360 degrees and the wingman will stay. It's a fairly difficult maneuver because of the way that they roll, and they try to stay in the echelon formation as they come over the top. And during that maneuver, and as you see, this is one of the favorites for the crowd, the sneak pass. There's 5 sneaking, and then over the top of us, number 6 coming right behind him. That's one of those that usually the crowd sees 5 go pie, and they're not ready for number 6 coming right behind.
They find religion in that moment, I think.
They do. They do. And now this is another formation where number 5 will actually join up, and he's going to join up for the line abreast loop. So that means the 5 planes will be together. So imagine if you're on the highway and you're going 70 miles an hour and you have 5 cars and you're trying to stay exactly aligned.
No, thank you.
That's difficult enough, but to do it in an F-18, and that's what they're going to demonstrate right now.
And they're going a lot faster than 70 miles
Definitely.
an hour. How fast do they get? What's their top speed?
The top speed of the jets, they can get Mach 2. They can get up to 1,400 miles an hour. Now, that would be breaking the sound barrier, which is something that we do not do at shows. So normally during the show, that sneak pass probably would have been the fastest thing you'll see today, probably right at 700, a little under that. And then the slowest speed, too, you'll see the slowest speed is where they're at about 120 miles an hour. And it still seems fast, but when we see it during the section high alpha, you will think, wow, they seem like they're barely moving.
Yeah.
It's still going 120 miles an hour. So right now, Boss is taking them up, and he's giving calls to them on how, the angle that they're pulling as they're going up, and they're all following his lead, and they're trying to stay aligned here. This is definitely a difficult maneuver to keep the separation while they're flying, and to make sure that, you know, your nose of your aircraft is not creeping above.
And as we're watching them actually kind of go through the clouds there, we can see some of the challenge that the clouds present because their smoke does disappear into it at certain angles.
Yes, it does. It seems to blend in some.
Yeah.
If you saw the show yesterday, you would have seen that with the clear blue sky, the smoke lingered for a long time. And with the little bit of haziness and cloud cover today, sometimes that smoke will either blend in or it seems to dissipate a little faster. And those are unique challenges that we say and we assess if we need to adjust the show based on it. But today, with the cloud level and the smoke is still fairly visible, as you see right there, that we're able to fly a full high show, and that's our favorite show to fly.
Yeah. Well, it's easy for us to think that all of that smoke is for our benefit because it just looks so cool. But they use that to let one another know of their positionings and so forth.
That is correct. Yes, the smoke is used in multiple ways. The smoke is used to clear. Like if the pilot is not in position, then they let their smoke off. That's saying I'm a little bit off. And then they rejoin when they are told to by number 4, cleared to rejoin. But also when the solos are opposing each other, they actually have times where they smoke on to reference each other. That becomes very important too for the loop break cross maneuvers. They do a low break cross, the Diamond does, and then the Delta does a loop break cross. And you will watch the smoke trails, and that is not only for the crowd, but for them to know where each other are as they come to center point at the same time. So
what are they heading for here?
So now they are coming in after the line abreast loop. They're doing the 4-point. So they're doing a 4 90-degree turns to do a full 360. And that shows the capability to stop midair and hold a position and then continue on. And as you see, we only have one set. We will focus on either 5 or 6. The crowd will. But as the people grading it down there, there's someone taking the grades for them, watching them to see if they're matched. So when they leave the maneuver, they still remain matched. And right now, this is the Diamond coming in for the vertical break. So they come in stacked, and now they will say go Diamond, and now they move into the Diamond position. And that transfer, they will get a smoke on call from Boss, and as soon as they get on that call, he will say ready break.
Wow, that is spectacular. We just hosted a fireworks show on July 4th, and they kind of break the way that the fireworks do, it seems like.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So now they will come back down to rejoin the flight leader, and he will take them off as the solos come in and they do the opposing vertical pitch. So they're going to come in, cross at center point, and max perform, and then they will do a split S reversal and bring the aircraft back down to center point.
When they cross like that, how close are they getting?
It is more of a, at the angles, they look close. They're usually 100, 150 feet apart, so they're not as close, but I mean, still, that's only about a jet length or so, a couple of jet lengths long, so it's still close, but a lot of it, too, when you see the comparison, it creates that. That's part of the training that they do, is to see how they're matching, and that's based on the angles and their proximity to each other.
And it happens at the start of a blink of an eye, not even a blink of an eye, but they pass one another so quickly.
Oh, yes. Being down there and grading is one of the tougher things as well, because you're trying to catch it and see how far they were from the right or to the left of center point.
And you all do that with the naked eye. It's not like you have some special machine helping you out or anything.
That is correct. Now the diamond is coming in for the barrel roll break. Captain Frosch is getting them set up for the next maneuver. They will do a climb, invert, roll 90 degrees, and then they will actually break out after they pass center point. And this is one of the favorite breakout maneuvers, because as you see when they break out, number 4 will invert and go down as he breaks out. So he looks like he's diving down closer to the horizon. And I've been told multiple times through the years that people really like that. The aesthetics of that breakout. And as you can see, you know, we've got the show line of the boats that are out there, but besides that, there's very little, because them coming down, they need to quickly reference where's the center boat, where's the show right boat, where's the crowd left truck that's on the bridge, so they can know where they need to be to make sure that they're flying where they should. And then that breakout as 4 inverts. So now you see the 5 and 6 have their flaps. You see the air brake up right there. That's actually to help them slow down. So you see it on the back in between, and now it goes down. So they are trying to slow down so they can do this section high alpha pass. So that's just another thing that creates drag to help get the wind resistance and slow them down quicker. Now they're slowed down enough. They will pitch their jets up, and then they will perform this section high alpha. This is where they're going at about 120 miles an hour. So it doesn't look like they're moving that fast, but still 120. And this is a lot of thrust to keep them at this angle.
That was a maneuver where I almost lost it. I almost lost a little bit of weight on that maneuver. I was holding the bag, did not use it, but it got awfully close. Just on their hind legs there, kind of.
Oh, yes. And again, what they're demonstrating right now is from that slowed position to continue that thrust and go directly up is still the power of these engines, these GE engines that are in these aircrafts, the power of them to take it from almost the slowest speed it can do and still drive it straight up. And now we're going to get a loud break from behind us, coming up from behind the crowd. The Diamond is setting up for the low break cross. Here they come. And this is another maneuver where the smoke is very important.
What does the smoke tell you here?
So right now, their smoke trails, they're going to follow them. So Boss is leading them to their points. They're doing checkpoints as well, 1 mile mark, and they're looking down to make sure they're on time for the reference point. And as they turn here, they're looking for the contact points of each other. And as they cross, they've seen that smoke trail. It's helped them to know where the person is, ensure that. And their ideal is to cross nose to nose so it appears, the parallax appears that they're crossing on, and almost going to hit each other. Obviously, they don't, but it is that aesthetics that we're shooting for. So when they do that, that is a successful time, and it just has a smoke trail. And right now, they're all coming in to do a center point cross, and again, they're referencing their smoke trail and their reference points on the water.
What is it like to do a show? See, I'm getting the pause down from you.
Nice.
What is it like to do the show here with lakes and mountains versus when you might do one over land or some other type of topography?
You know, each show has its unique topography and characteristics. When we have wind, that definitely starts to affect us. Low cloud height. You see the solos coming in right now for their tuck over roll maneuver, whereas they come down the line, they try to match each other. And at the certain crowd point, you will see them as one jet. But as they're going over lakes and sometimes the ocean, if we're on a beach show, the air is a little smoother at times. So that's something that they do. But then as soon as they come off of that and they hit the land, and if the wind is whipping the trees, it's whipping the air above the trees, and it makes it a little bumpier for them. So those are unique challenges, and it's from day to day. So it's not just, oh, we've got the layout. We've flown here in Seattle for the last 3 days.
Right.
We know this area. Well, what are the unique conditions for today? Is it windier? Is there different clouds or haze that are going?